morning, Cactus people. Today we're going to be talking about Eve's needle. Now, you might not want to go full NBC suit, but you certainly do need a bit of protection with the Eve's needle. It's known as, or its full name is Austrocylindropuntia subulata, I have to think then, and it comes from only from the Andes in Peru, and it's been widely distributed around the rest of South America and indeed other parts of the world. It's used as a stock fencing. It forms a rather impenetrable fence. You plant it and then cut it off, and it produces loads of shoots, and they've got these big needles on it, as the name says. And these were indeed used as needles. They're quite effective. That is very hard. I had to cut this one off with some wire clippers, and it's every bit as good as a steel needle that you'd buy. You could quite easily use that for sewing. I don't know how easy it is to make a little hole in the end to drag a thread through, but no doubt someone's tried that. And as I say, it grows very fast. It grows a foot a year. Not in the pots obviously, but if you put it in the ground, it's quite happily put on a foot in a season. It has these vestigial leaves which don't do much in the way of photosynthesis. The plant itself does the photosynthesis, but these are left over from when it used to be a shrub. So these mainly only grow on the new growth or last year's growth. The previous years tend not to grow them, but it's not always the case. I've got one in the bed which we'll have a look at later, which appears to have previous year's leaves still on it, but you can see on this one that's the last season's growth, and it sprouted these two growths in the last season, or this season just gone. They're not 100% frost hardy. They can go down to sort of just below freezing, and they'll just about get away with it, but they do suffer damage, and they will die below -4. This one, this was out in the winter, and the unheated tunnel all winter, and the tops got frosted. I had to cut the frosted growth off there and then treat it with sulphur, as you can see. So that was what happens with those. This one was rooted up the year before last. You can see it's made quite good root growth there, or very good root growth. I got that up the pot so we can have a look at it. So I rooted up, well, put a load of cuttings to root from last year, but they haven't actually put any root growth yet, so that's why I took that one out. And if that was to go in the bed now, that would romp away, but I want to sell some of these, so I'll put them into pots, and I won't give them a lot of nutrient because they'll get away. So that's that one. It will grow up to about 3 to 5 meters if it's left to its own devices. And last year or the year before, I cut one off that had reached the roof in the Cactus house, which you can see in an older video. I'll put a link up to that somewhere. Yeah, that's the main one. Oh, they are very susceptible to mealybugs at the tips, so keep your eye on the tips for mealybugs, and give them a spray with some isopropyl if you see that. So that's something to keep your eye on. Now, the actual vestigial leaves, I haven't got one that here. I should have picked one before starting the video. They grow about this sort of length during the season, and they're used for human food and tortoise food. So if you've got one that you've never sprayed, you can feed that to your tortoises, which I do keep a range of those that have never been sprayed. And I've not actually tried it myself. I might try it this year, see what they're like. I'll find out how to cook them properly first, so that's the main thing. But they produce quite a lot of leaves in the season, so it's worth having a look at that one. So, if you wanted a smaller one, on the other hand, we've got this one here, which although I can't find a valid species name for it on the internet at the moment, it does appear to be another Eve's needle. It's just the monstrose form, which is widely available. It may just be a nursery cultivar, I'm not quite sure. Can't find enough information. Liffle doesn't really cover this one, so just not 100% sure yet, but is so similar to this the main Eve's needle that I think it must be closely related, or a monstrose version. This is much slower growing. This plant, I inherited this was a gift from someone that was moving. I guess I would say this is between, I don't know, 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years, I'm not sure. I've got one in the bed over there that I've taken a few cuttings off it, and I know it was planted in about 5 years ago, and I've taken cuttings off it since, and it's still only that sort of size, so they are very slow growing. So if you want an Eve's needle but you don't want it to take over your entire greenhouse, this is the way to go. And it's very easy to root. Again, I took loads of cuttings off this last year, and I just checked them, they haven't actually put any root growth on. But if you want to take a cutting, you just select a decent looking branch here, and as simple as that, it comes off quite clean. So just pop that into some grits and leave it a few months, and then just check for root growth, and then pot it up afterwards. Again, susceptible to mealybugs, so keep your eye on them. I think that was it for the table, so next bit we'll go over and have a look at the one in the bed. Now this is the one that has been growing in the bed. In fact, it's the stump of the one that's been growing in the bed. I cut this off I think 2 years ago now, and it was up to the top. So before we have a look at that, I forgot to mention the pad I use for handling the bigger plants. This is just a couple of pieces of cardboard with some padding. I think it might have some bubble wrap in there as well. Just wrap around with some tape, so you can wrap this around the stem of the plant without getting the spines in, because the spines are so big they go straight through leather gloves. So that's that. And this is a Japanese saw, pruning saw, which cuts the other way to English saws. That's very handy for cutting through the trunk as well. If we have a look at it down here, you can see Grump Bear is modelling it for scale there. He's quite dwarfed by it. And this, I believe this is 2 years growth on here. And like I said, the needles, or the leaves rather, should drop off the growth. But I've got a feeling it's just stayed too warm in here in the winter for it, and last year's leaves didn't fully drop off here. And you can see the size of the leaves, they're very fleshy. Quite a nice snack for tortoise, and I say we might try a few of these, see what they're like, because once they get going they produce quite a lot. And you can also see, if I look over the top, you can see the size of the stem that I cut off. So it's quite a nice woody plant there. And these, I say they come from the Andes, and they're used for making rain sticks, which don't know if I've got mine handy. I think I have. We can go over here and have a look at my not real rain stick. Oh, someone's popped in to make sure my gauntlet gloves are nice and warm there. And I've not made one from an actual cactus yet, but this is my rain stick that I made to demonstrate to some students that came round a while ago. In reality, you'd use a cactus stem, you take the spines off and bash them back through the stem of the cactus, and then fill it full of grit on the inside. And if you want to call up the rain, you turn it upside down, and that's meant to bring the rain to you. And we have used this, and it seems to work. So there you go. I don't think there's anything more I can say about the Eve's needle in this one, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I explained things, and I'll see you in the next video. I thought we might have got a goodbye from Graham there, but didn't work. Thank you.